Our next finalist is one more of those extraordinary students, and I'm honored to bring to the stage next our persuasive speech second finalist, Brandon Yeates.
Well, it simply would not be right for me to start speaking without thanking the individuals at 4-Star, General Tommy Franks, the staff of the NCPA and Oklahoma Christian University for hosting this camp. Your investment in young people's lives does not go unnoticed. Thank you so much for caring about us. All right. When Galileo searched the heavens and discovered that the sun was the center of our solar system, he was astonished. But perhaps just as astonishing was the persecution he suffered from the scientific elite, who censored his discoveries as heresy. Now, we all like to think we've advanced far beyond 16th century backlash to scientific controversy. But today, scientists who question the mainstream doctrines of global warming are facing new waves of persecution. As with Galileo, the evidence is on the side of the skeptics, meaning Americans are trying to solve a phantom problem for which we are not responsible and which we cannot even solve. And for that reason, I believe very firmly that it's time to stop wasting our time and money on futile greenhouse gas reduction efforts and to start prioritizing our economy so our country can have the resources we need to address the real problems facing our country. Now, we've all heard that increased levels of carbon dioxide are bad for the environment and will cause catastrophic global warming. But the facts tell a radically different story. To begin with, increased levels of carbon dioxide actually make our planet greener, as demonstrated by Australian satellite data from 1982 to 2010, which correlated greater concentrations of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere with an 11% increase in foliage covering dry regions across the world. Second, warmer temperatures are also beneficial. Analyst James Taylor of the Heartland Institute explains that warmer temperatures lengthen growing seasons and produce more life-giving rainfall to water our crops and environment. For example, during the 9th to 13th century medieval warming period, temperatures warmed enough that grain crops and pastures were established in Greenland, grapes and olives were grown in Great Britain, and agriculture, forests, and economic prosperity expanded dramatically across the globe, according to environmental science professor Ian Plimmer in his book Heaven and Earth. So although global warming has been demonized as a harbinger of the apocalypse, it's actually an omen that good days are ahead of us. Man-made global warming adherents also mistakenly blame humanity and its industries for the increased levels of carbon dioxide. However, according to the Center for Ice and Climate at the Niels Bohr Institute in Copenhagen, ice core data shows that carbon dioxide levels follow temperature. CO2 does not change temperature. Second, Professor Plimmer goes on to point out that the greenhouse gases produced by humanity are dwarfed by the titanic amounts produced by nature. Volcanoes produce more than the CO2 coming from our cars and our industries put together. And animals produce more than 25 times as many greenhouse gases as all of human endeavor put together. In other words, our influence is negligible. In 2012, environmental analyst Paul Knappenberger used the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change's own models to predict that even if the United States stopped every single one of its carbon emissions tomorrow, global temperature would only decrease by 8/100ths of 1 degree centigrade by the year 2050. But Washington, pro forma, is ignoring the facts, and its environmental policies will come at a staggering cost. In a 2010 report, the Heritage Foundation projected that by the year 2035, thanks to green mandates, residential energy rates, in other words, your energy rates, will increase 36%, industrial rates 60%, kill over 1 million jobs, cost the average family $2,400 a year, and decrease our country's gross domestic product by an annual average of $218 billion. Our president has said that global warming is the greatest threat to the modern world. But I agree with a growing number of scientists who think he's wrong. Global warming is not a real threat, but global warming policies are. Galileo once said, "By denying scientific principles, one can maintain any paradox." by denying the evidence. The scientific elite has maintained the paradox that man determines the temperature of the planet and not the other way around. But the inconvenient truth is that they're wrong. Catastrophic global warming is a phantom problem for which we are not responsible and cannot solve. And so I think it's high time that we put pressure on Washington to stop burning a hole in our pockets with futile greenhouse gas reduction efforts and to start prioritizing economic growth in order to return our country to a healthy climate of vibrant prosperity. Thank you very much for listening.